coming up on Outdoor Oklahoma.
Sure enough, 3 deer came out just right on cue. And
each incoming hunter must be able to exhibit both the state hunting license and the $3 deer license.
So learning all these things is going to help us better manage the mule deer that we do have.
Much flavor that comes out of that first bite. You get that rosemary right off the top.
Oh, you got him! You got him, Emily!
Oh! Nice mess of blue cat we have right there.
Ready.
Now folks, this is what we're after. This is what you get in Outdoor Oklahoma.
Outdoor Oklahoma is brought to you by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, sharing the beauty, the adventure, and the spirit of Oklahoma's wild places.
Todd Craighead and Charles Cowell worked in the same building for nearly 3 decades before they finally connected. Seeing each other almost daily, yet a true connection remained elusive.
I've actually known Charles since the very first day I stepped into the wildlife department in 1995. But because of our, communication hurdles, we really hadn't ever truly connected.
It took Charles 34 years and the approach of retirement to finally reach out.
I'd see Todd, and Todd also has a disability, and he would take other folks hunting with him, and I thought, maybe I should ask him. It took me 34 years. I emailed him, and I said, I'd like to go hunting someday. And
it hit me like a ton of bricks. I had never thought about somebody in my own building that I see every day that had never hunted and yet might be interested. So I just went out on a limb and I said, well, I'll take you.
With the plan set, Todd, who often had people second guess him because of his physical differences, found himself in a new role, overthinking the hurdles for Charles.
When we started putting plans together to actually go hunt, I overthought the whole thing. At first I thought, I'll use technology and I'll take my iPad. So then I thought, okay, I'll step back from technology, and I bought a little dry erase board. And that turned out to be kind of an unnecessary idea as well.
The solution, as often happens, was simple, elegant, and already in their hands.
The blind's kind of small, so we're literally practically touching shoulders sitting next to each other. And I could just type in my notes app on my phone, and it was just perfect. It solved all those issues. It was quieter than us actually having to whisper.
Well, I didn't realize that we really did need an interpreter. We could use the texting.
The first hunt ended empty-handed, but the second, colder day presented an opportunity.
Sure enough, 3 deer came out just right on cue, and I did get pretty nervous because I thought, how am I going to pull his concentration away from the gun and the shot to tell him which deer to shoot and when it was okay to shoot?
Todd realized Charles possessed the confidence and skill to manage the moment on his own.
And fortunately, Charles is, mature enough that he knew when a shot opportunity would present itself. And so in the moment of truth, there was none of that texting that I thought we were going to have to do. I just literally sat back, watched,
and saw 3 deer coming. and I kind of froze, and Todd said, "Go ahead." And so I decided, okay, I chose one and shot.
Okay. There's two out in the field out here still. Okay, while we've got time and light, we ought to go look. Oh, man. That is fantastic. Oh, man, that's great. Man, oh, man. Hey, she's big. Yeah, she's big.
It was one of the most exciting, most memorable experiences of my hunting career to walk up on that deer that Charles had shot.
Yes, I was excited. I really was proud of myself.
I would much rather be with somebody that hasn't had near as many opportunities to do it. And golly, these are my trophies.
The hunt doesn't end when the deer is harvested. The next step is processing the meat.
If you take a new hunter deer hunting, don't end the experience with just the hunt, because the first time someone's at a processor can be kind of confusing, because there's a lot of decisions to be made and a lot of questions that are asked of the processor. And so I would encourage you as well, if you take someone hunting, be sure and go with them to the processor, because it was a lot of chaos there that day and a lot of hunters, and it's a little bit overwhelming.
Thank you.
For Todd, the experience was a lesson in not making assumptions about others.
I'll admit that I was a little ashamed when I realized that I had worked with Charles for 27, 28 years before that hunt and had never bothered to mention it. I learned that it was dangerous to make assumptions about the people that you see every day or work with every day. And so when the tables were turned and I was taking someone with a disability, I overthought the whole process, probably like a lot of people do with me. Just take them, just have a willingness to be there and plug into their lives and help them experience the outdoors simply with the opportunity.
I think a lot of deaf people would love to hunt. It doesn't hurt to ask. Don't be afraid. Deaf people can show that they're able and prove them wrong. You can do anything except hear.
The takeaway is simple.
Ask them, hey, I'm going to go hunting this weekend. Would you ever be interested in maybe going? Have you ever been hunting before? I would love to take you. It can't ever hurt to ask.
And then when I finally did shoot one, my wife was a little apprehensive of what's it going to taste like. So I cooked it, and she said, "Oh man, this is delicious. I want some more." So I think I need to go hunt again. I'm running out of deer meat.
How would you like to bag a nice big deer like this? One of the largest bucks killed in Oklahoma last year was bagged by William C. Hornsby of Tulsa. It was brought down with a bow and arrow. The deer, field dressed, weighed 148 pounds. This means that before being dressed, the deer must have weighed from 190 to 200 pounds. Well, you may not bag a deer quite this big, but your chances of getting a buck during the 1955 deer hunting season are good. Whether you hunt in the pine forests of eastern Oklahoma, the blackjacks of central Oklahoma, or the cottonwoods of western Oklahoma. Surveys made by the Oklahoma Game and Fish Department indicate that the state's deer population is as good or better this year than it was last year. And last year, nearly 1,500 deer were killed in 39 Oklahoma counties. These surveys are based on the number of deer actually sighted in a given area and deer signs noted by trained observers. These signs may include such things as plants on which deer have been browsing, and deer tracks such as this. There are 3 species of deer in Oklahoma, 2 of which are native, the whitetail and the mule deer. The whitetail is common over most of Oklahoma, while the mule deer are found principally in Cimarron County in the Panhandle. The 3rd species found in Oklahoma is the fallow deer, which is confined largely to the Camp Gruber area. The ancestors of these deer originally came from Europe. This year, the deer season for bow and arrow hunters opens November the 12th for a 10-day period. And as you will note, not all of the archers are men. The bow hunters will do their stalking in the northern half of the Cherokee Game Management Area and the Camp Gruber area in Cherokee and Muskogee counties. A check station will be set up at the entrance, and bow hunters must report there before entering or leaving the area. Each incoming hunter must be able to exhibit both a state hunting license and the $3 deer license. Incoming hunters also will be required to submit their bows to a pull test. The minimum requirement is a 40-pound pull. This bow is well over the minimum. A pull less than 40 pounds could result in wounded deer. Only 1 buck may be taken by any one hunter, and the kill must be reported at the check station. The deer must have antlers measuring 6 inches or longer, or a total of 3 prongs. The length of a deer's antlers, or the number of points it has, does not necessarily indicate its age. The age of the deer is best determined by spreading the animal's jaws for inspection of the teeth. Smoothness indicates advanced age. Another way of estimating the age of a buck is to measure the thickness of the main stems of the antlers. The larger the beam, the older the buck. Game and Fish employees also will check for parasites such as ticks. Bow hunters who stay overnight in the archery area will be required to confine themselves to a general campsite set aside for that purpose. Once the camp is established, some of the hunters probably will spend at least part of their non-hunting hours in practice shooting. These hunters are shooting at paper milk cartons with practice arrows. In the field, they will use arrows like this, strong and durable. This steel arrow point looks like the head of a huge spear, but in reality, it's only about 1 3/4 inches long. To bring down a deer, the bow hunter's arrow should be razor sharp, and to keep them that way, most hunters refile their arrows each time they're used. This is done with a special file and push and pull strokes. And this is the way the arrow looks to the startled deer that walked into view of the bow hunter. For shotgun and rifle hunters in this southeastern Oklahoma area, the season is from November 23rd to the 27th. The season for shotgun and rifle hunters in this area is from November 24th to 26th inclusive, and also in Cimarron County in the far end of the Panhandle. Throughout the rest of the state, only shotgun hunters may hunt deer from November 24th to 26th. There will be 30 ranger check stations over the state, as indicated by stars on this map. Sportsmen who go in search of deer should make sure the area in which they are hunting is open to the public. Some of the game management areas and refuges and all state parks will be closed to deer hunters. Permission must be obtained from the landowner or tenant before entering private property. Safety precautions, especially in crossing fences, should be observed, and all hunters are required to wear bright red upper-outer garments and headgear. But there's more to going hunting, especially in eastern Oklahoma, than just getting a deer. Camping out, cooking over an open fire, and brewing a pot of coffee are part of the fun. And there's nothing like the flavor of coffee made over a campfire. There's a deer like this waiting for you in outdoor Oklahoma.
Anxious eyes scanned the horizon to locate the tiny black speck that slowly grew into the shape of a helicopter approaching the team's research site. Hanging 20 feet below the chopper in a sling was an orange tarp wrapped around a special cargo, an Oklahoma mule deer. This scene played out scores of times during the winter months of 2024 and 2025 in western Oklahoma and the Panhandle, as part of the first comprehensive scientific study of the state's mule deer population. The live cargo is gently lowered to the ground as research team members rush in to carry the animal to the processing area, where team members stand ready. The deer is already hooded to reduce stress, and its legs are bound together to keep them calm. Mule deer are an understudied species in Oklahoma with unknown population dynamics. Several years ago, biologists estimated about 2,000 mule deer reside in western Oklahoma, which is the farthest east the species is found. They are found in pockets now, mostly on private property.
Yeah, this is the first collars to go into mule deer, the first dedicated mule deer project that we've been able to figure out. Being on the far eastern edge of the mule deer range, we don't really know what great mule deer habitat looks like on this side of the state. We don't know what things are the biggest limiting factors to their distribution or their abundance up and down the western side of the state. So learning all these things is going to help us better manage the mule deer that we do have and hopefully encourage growth in those populations into some historic ranges where they used to be.
Hunter interest in harvesting mule deer has been growing in recent years. Oklahoma hunters harvested 209 mule deer last year. The Mule Deer research team is composed of faculty and graduate students from the Oklahoma State University Ferguson College of Agriculture and the Caesar Keyberg Wildlife Research Institute at Texas A&M University-Kingsville. Field research began in February 2024 and will wrap up in 2026. A final report is expected in summer 2027. The team is involved in capturing deer in late winter and summer. Biological samples collected including blood, feces, hair, tissue, and saliva. Fat deposition is assessed using ultrasound to take measurements. Ultrasound is also used to check whether a doe is pregnant. If so, a special transmitter is placed in the doe that will signal researchers at the time of a birth. The animals are weighed and measured. Then they receive ear tags and are fitted with a GPS/VHF collar, so movement and survival can be monitored. And before being released, all captured deer get a patch of orange spray paint on their back, so the helicopter crew won't recapture the same deer. And it all happens in 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, so actually that's the cool part about this. These are the first mule deer ever collared in Oklahoma history. And so ODWC saw the need to, kind of take a deep dive on assessing the mule deer population. We put in a proposal from OSU with our partners from Texas A&M University-Kingsville. We have 2 PhD students, one at each university, that's responsible for really everything you're seeing here. You know, a lot of the professors wrote the proposal, but then we hire the students, and they're out here interacting with the ranchers, they're interacting with the farmers, the ODWC personnel, and collectively, all the data we've collected, that's the best and really the only data that we have on mule deer in the state, short of some harvest data that, of course, the hunters, report harvest to ODWC.
The following winter, researchers will try to recapture deer from the previous year to assess any changes that might have occurred. Doctoral students Molly Keck of OSU and Calvin Ellis of TAMU-Kingsville are the student leads on the research team, and both are no strangers to wildlife field research.
Oh yeah, and it's extremely exciting to be on the team that's going to be initially collaring any mule deer in the state. So we actually collared the first fawns, does, and buck mule deer in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I would agree. It's been super cool, and it's really neat to be able to work with a lot of the private landowners as well as with the agency on something that will hopefully see direct management implications come from within a few years.
It's been really interesting to see just the total number of deer that we have, and especially their movements. With the GPS collars on these deer, we've seen deer move up to 20 miles in some cases. So it's been really interesting to see how they behave. So all these deer have been here historically, and they're here right now in pockets up and down the western side of the state. When we partner with universities where we can really deep dive and use the latest technology into studying these animals to make sure we're managing them, we get to use that living science of habitat management. The same way that we manage wildlife is not the same way that we did it 10 years ago or 20 years ago. It's always trying to get better. And so this is what we're doing now with the mule deer, is we're kind of checking ourselves as a state agency and as wildlife professionals to see how we can do our job better and better serve the mule deer as a resource.
It's important to have conservation, and it's important to appreciate our wildlife. Every time I buy my license, my dollars go towards wildlife conservation and sustaining it for the future generations.
Outdoor Oklahoma is produced by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation and is proud to serve and be funded entirely by sportsmen and women and outdoor enthusiasts who love and appreciate all things wild in the great state of Oklahoma. Connect with us online on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Want to know more about the Wildlife Department? Visit us at wildlifedepartment.com. Thanks for watching.
pooped your pants in the 4th grade. Everybody knows you cry yourself to sleep. Blink. I think your bald spot's kind of cute. Oh, that's where it all went. Oh, it's a little hair bunny. Now wacky whack it. Yeehaw! Oh, is that a new wrinkle? This guy. Oh, she's never gonna love you like she loves that food.
Honey, do you need to speak to someone about the Kristen Chenoweth in the room?
Yeah, I do.
We all have our burdens. Call or text 988 to get yours off your back.